The digital clock on my Honda's dashboard glowed, 11:43 p.m. as I merged on to I-94, leaving behind another 16-hour shift to Children's Hospital. My navy blue scrubs felt damp with perspiration, and the fabric clung uncomfortably to my skin despite the late-night chill. Elizabeth, or Liz as everyone called me, was at 26 years old and looking every one of her years plus a few extra, weighed down by the financial pressure of bills, maxed-out credit cards, and the student loans that followed me like shadows. My 17-year-old brother, Ethan, was probably home, and the thought of him brought the familiar, crushing weight of responsibility. That's when I felt it. A subtle pulling sensation in the steering wheel, intensifying until the front right tire exploded with a sound like a gunshot. The Honda veered wildly, striking the concrete barrier, metal screaming against metal in a shower of sparks. Then I was airborne, suspended in terrible weightlessness as the car rolled down the 40-foot embankment. When the chaos stopped, I was hanging upside down, suspended by my seatbelt. Blood dripped steadily from a cut on my scalp. My left arm hung at an unnatural angle. I was trapped in a metal coffin 50 feet from the highway. Then I smelled it. Gasoline, sweet and terrifying. The fuel tank had been compromised, and I knew a single spark could turn the wreckage into a crematorium. I tried to call out, "Help me!" but my voice was barely a whisper. The sound seemed to die just feet from the car. Then, through the ringing silence, I heard it. The powerful engine of an expensive car slowing on the highway above. Moments later, I heard heavy, purposeful footsteps crunching through the gravel. My rescuer finally appeared in the shattered moonlight, a tall silhouette with an expensive suit and Italian leather shoes. He opened the passenger door, carefully pushing the crumpled metal aside. His face was a mask of cold efficiency, his features sharp, his gray eyes devoid of panic. He didn't ask if I was hurt. He assessed the car, the leaking fluids, the crash site, and then looked directly at me. His voice, deep and controlled, cut through the night. It was the voice of a man who commanded absolute power. He stated, his accent wrapping around the name like steel over silk. Then his eyes flicking back to the damaged tire, he delivered the chilling sentence that signaled my rescue was actually my capture. This wasn't an accident. "Where am I?" My voice came out raw. He put a glass of water on the nightstand. "My home, under my protection. Your brother has been informed you're recovering at a private facility. He believes you're receiving excellent care. The casual invasion made my blood freeze. You had no right to contact Ethan." "I had every right the moment I pulled you from that wreckage. You became my responsibility." His gray eyes held mine. "Let me be clear, Elizabeth. You have no phone, no car, no way to leave this estate without my permission. These aren't punishments, they're necessities. Until you understand what happened and why, you stay here." "You can't keep me prisoner." "I'm keeping you alive. There's a difference." 2 days later, I was strong enough to explore. The mansion sprawled with polished hardwood, priceless antiques, and men in dark suits everywhere, moving with military precision, talking into earpieces, their jackets concealing weapons I pretended not to notice. In the kitchen, a woman named Maria offered me coffee with the exact cream and sugar I preferred. Someone had briefed her. "You're safe here," she said carefully. "Mr. Volpe protects what belongs to him." I don't belong to anyone. Perhaps not, but you're alive because of him. Remember that. I found Jarrett in his study, surrounded by floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. He turned documents face down when I entered. "You're moving around. Good. I need to go home. I need to see Ethan. Your job has been informed you're on medical leave. Paid. Your bills for this month have been handled. Your brother has everything he needs." The words felt like slaps. You had no right. I had every right. Because the alternative was letting you die. He moved closer, predatory and controlled. "Tomorrow, when you're strong enough, I'll tell you everything. Some truths require strength to bear." Your father was a gambling addict who buried you in debt. Underground poker clubs. He borrowed from Volkov 5 years ago. The interest has tripled the original amount. He swiped to another image, my Honda, destroyed, photographed from above. The accident was meant to kill you, settle the debt through your death. I didn't know about any debt. They don't care. They care about making examples. You survived because I was watching. His tone remained clinical. "I've known about your situation for 3 months. When I learned Volkov ordered a hit on a pediatric nurse to settle her dead father's debts, I intervened. You were following me? I ensured I was there when your tire exploded. I controlled every variable." He said it like describing weather. The alternative was letting Volkov's people get to you first. Their method would have been less survivable. My voice broke. "You caused my accident. I saved your life. Everything happened under my control. Your injuries are regrettable, but manageable. The alternative was your death." If you can't stand people who manipulate your entire life without permission, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. Type, "Nobody deserves that." Because what Jarrett did next only got worse. Over the following week, I learned life in Jarrett's fortress. Physical therapy every afternoon, dinners where Jarrett would appear, asking careful questions about my work, about Ethan, about the life he'd stolen from me. One evening, he showed me documents. "Your nursing supervisor believes you're recovering from the accident. Your student loans, I've arranged payment plans that won't crush you. Your credit cards are being handled. Stop controlling my life. I'm managing the chaos your father left behind." He leaned forward. "You worked 16-hour shifts to stay barely afloat. You were drowning, Elizabeth. I'm offering you air. I didn't ask for your help. No, you asked for survival when you whispered, 'Help me,' in that wreckage. I'm giving you what you need, not what you think you want." Later, I found him in his study with blood seeping through his shirt sleeve. "What happened?" "Business disagreement. It's handled." My nursing instincts overrode my anger. I cleaned and dressed the knife wound with professional efficiency, our faces inches apart. The tension between us shifted, dangerous, electric, unwanted. When I finished, his hand caught my wrist gently. "You could have let me bleed," he said quietly. "I'm a nurse. I help people, even when they're monsters." His smile was cold. "Then we're both doing what we're trained to do." The next morning, Jarrett summoned me to his office. He turned his laptop toward me, showing security footage. Men in a dark sedan parked outside my apartment building where Ethan lived alone. They watched the entrance with the patience of predators. Volkov's people. They've been watching your brother for 3 days. He played another clip, the same men following Ethan from school. They know you're alive. They're waiting. My heart stopped. Ethan is protected. I have teams watching him around the clock. He doesn't know, and he's safe. But the moment you leave my protection, the moment you try to return to your old life, they'll strike. He closed the laptop. I eliminated the men who sabotaged your car, 2 of them. I made it clear to Volkov that you're under my protection now. The word eliminated hung in the air like smoke. You killed them. Yes. No hesitation, no remorse. And I'll kill anyone else who comes for you or your brother. That's what protection means in my world, Elizabeth. It's not gentle. It's not clean. But it's absolute. I wanted to hate him. I wanted to scream, to run, to reject everything he represented. But Ethan's face on that security footage, oblivious to the danger, shattered any illusion of choice. How long? My voice came out hollow. How long do I have to stay here? Until Volkov understands you're permanently off limits. Until the debt is resolved. He studied me with those calculating gray eyes. Until you're mine in a way he can't challenge. If you believe in protecting innocent people at any cost, hit that subscribe button. People like Kilya Volkov won't, and you need to hear what Jarrett demanded next.
3 days later, Jarrett received a call that changed everything. He listened in silence, his expression darkening. When he hung up, he looked at me with something almost like regret. Volkov is coming here, now. He wants to negotiate directly. What does that mean? It means he's bold enough to challenge me on my own territory. It means he's testing boundaries. He stood, buttoning his suit jacket. You will stay in this room. You will stay silent. But you need to see what you're dealing with. You need to understand why leaving my protection means death. 20 minutes later, Kirill Volkov walked into Jarrett's study like he owned it. The scarred face from the photograph was more terrifying in person. Brutal, cold, radiating violence. 2 enforcers flanked him, hands resting near concealed weapons. I watched from an adjoining room through a barely cracked door, my heart hammering. Volpe. Volkov's accent was thick, his smile predatory. You are protecting my property. This is disrespectful. Elizabeth Wilcox is not your property. Her father's debt died with him. Debt doesn't die, it transfers. She inherited her obligations. Return her, pay the $80,000 plus interest, or we have war. Simple choice. Jarrett's voice dropped to something deadly. You sent assassins to kill a nurse. You threatened a child. These actions violated our territorial agreements. The debt is void, and the woman is mine. Those are the terms. Accept them or test me. The room went silent. Volkov's hand drifted toward his jacket. In a movement too fast to track, Jarrett had a gun pressed under Volkov's chin. The two enforcers froze as Jarrett's own men materialized from shadows, weapons drawn. "You are in my house, Kirill. You breathe because I allow it. Elizabeth Wilcox is under my permanent protection. Send another man near her or her brother, and I'll bury your entire operation in the river. Are we clear?" After an eternity, Volkov smiled. A death's head grin. "Crystal clear, Volpe. But permanent protection requires permanent claim. A girlfriend, a mistress, these are temporary. Bratva respects only family, only marriage." He left with his men, and I understood. Volkov had just drawn the line. Temporary protection wasn't enough.
Jarrett found me an hour later, still shaking. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey, pressing one into my hands before sitting across from me. "I need to tell you something," he said quietly, "and you're going to hate me for it. I already hate you. Not like this." He drank, his expression unreadable. "The debt, $80,000. I could have paid it 3 months ago. I could have made it disappear with a single phone call to Volkov." The glass nearly slipped from my hand. "What?" "I have leverage over his operation, business relationships, compromising information. I could have erased your father's debt the day I learned about it." He met my eyes. I chose not to. The betrayal felt physical. "You let them try to kill me? I let them think they could try. I controlled every moment, the sabotage, the timing, the rescue. I engineered a crisis that would make you dependent on my protection." He leaned forward. "Because I wanted you, Elizabeth. From the moment I saw you leaving the hospital in your scrubs, exhausted and beautiful, and fighting against a world determined to crush you, I wanted you. And I don't risk losing what I want to something as uncertain as choice. You're insane." "I'm honest." He pulled a folder from his desk, sliding it across to me. "This is a marriage contract, legally binding, with provisions that protect you and Ethan absolutely. Your brother gets full college funding. Your debts disappear. You receive an income that ensures you never work a 16-hour shift again unless you choose to. In exchange, you become my wife, permanently, legally, irrevocably. You're forcing me into marriage. I'm offering you the only path forward. You heard Volkov. Temporary protection isn't enough. As my girlfriend, my mistress, even as someone under my general protection, you're vulnerable. As my wife, your family, untouchable. The Bratva respects marriage. They'll back off because challenging me means challenging a blood bond." I stared at the contract, at the signature line waiting for my name. This is kidnapping, coercion, imprisonment. This is survival. This is the only way I can guarantee Ethan lives to see 18. The only way you live to see 27. His voice turned steel. I won't apologize for engineering this. I won't pretend I'm noble. I wanted you, and I took the steps necessary to keep you. But everything I'm offering is real. The protection, the resources, the future. Sign and I'll make you the most protected woman in this city. Refuse, and I'll do everything I can to keep you safe, but it won't be enough. Volkov will find a way. They always do.
I sat alone in that study for hours, the contract burning like fire under my hands. Every word was legally precise, offering security I'd never dreamed possible. College funding for Ethan, full ride, any school. My student loans paid in full. A monthly income that would let me breathe for the first time in years. Protection so absolute that Ethan could live a normal life, unaware of the monsters that had nearly killed us both. All it cost was my freedom. I thought about my father, the man I'd loved, who'd read me bedtime stories and taught me to be strong. He'd also been a liar, an addict, a man who'd gambled away our futures and left us buried in a debt that literally tried to kill me. His choices had led here, to this impossible moment. I thought about Ethan, 17 and alone, waiting for his sister to come home. He had no idea men were watching him, that his life hung in the balance of decisions made in shadowed rooms by dangerous men. He deserved better. He deserved safety, college, a future unburdened by our father's sins. And I thought about Jarrett, the monster who'd saved me, who'd manipulated everything, who'd engineered a crisis to trap me. He was a killer, a criminal, a man who'd admitted to orchestrating my accident. But he was also offering absolute protection, resources beyond measure, and a brutal kind of honesty. He didn't pretend to be good. He simply was what he was. When Jarrett returned, I had the contract in front of me, pen in hand. "If I sign this," I said, my voice steady despite the tears on my face, "I want modifications. I continue working as a nurse. I see Ethan regularly. And I'm not your property. I'm your partner. Equal, respected, consulted. This marriage might be forced, but I won't be a prisoner in it." He sat down slowly, something like respect flickering in his eyes. "Agreed. You work if you choose. You see Ethan whenever you want. And as my wife, you'll have access to everything. My resources, my protection, my counsel. I don't want a prisoner, Elizabeth. I want you."
Why? The question broke from me. Why me? You could have anyone. Because you fight. Because you work 16-hour shifts for a brother who isn't even your son. Because you whispered, "Help me," in a burning wreck and meant it not for yourself, but for the people depending on you. His voice softened. Because you're stronger than you know, and I need that strength beside me. I signed the contract with hands that didn't shake. Each letter of my name felt like a choice and a surrender, a beginning and an ending. When I finished, Jarrett added his own signature beside mine, the two names binding us legally, irrevocably. "There's no going back from this," he said quietly. I know. I met his eyes, finding my voice despite the fear. "But if I'm your wife, if I'm family, you protect what's mine too. My patients, my brother, the people I care about. That's the deal, Jarrett. You want my strength? You get my compassion too. You get all of me, not just the parts that suit you." For the first time since I'd met him, Jarrett Volpe smiled,
genuinely, warmly. "I wouldn't have it any other way, Mrs. Volpe."
The wedding happened 3 days later in Jarrett's private study. No white dress, no guests, no pretense of romance. Just a judge who owed Jarrett favors, Maria as witness, and vows that felt like contracts binding us together. "Do you, Elizabeth and Wilcox, take this man?" "I do." The words came out strong, defiant. I was choosing survival, choosing Ethan's future, choosing the only path that kept us alive. But I was also choosing to transform this forced marriage into something I could control. If I was going to be Jarrett Volpe's wife, I would be formidable. When Jarrett said, "I do," he looked at me like I was something precious and dangerous, exactly what I intended to become. The judge pronounced us married. No kiss, no celebration, just the exchange of rings, a simple platinum band that felt heavy with meaning. Afterwards, Jarrett took me to meet his full organization. Men who'd been shadows became faces, names, roles. His second-in-command, Marco, studied me with cautious respect. The others followed his lead, understanding that I wasn't a victim to pity, but the boss's wife to respect. "They'll protect you now," Jarrett said as we left the meeting. "Not because I order it, but because you're family. That's what marriage means in this world. Absolute loyalty, unbreakable bonds." That evening, I finally called Ethan. Hearing his voice nearly broke me. "Liz, the hospital said you were in some accident. Are you okay?" "I'm okay, E. I'm actually great. Something amazing happened." I took a breath, selling the lie that would protect him. "I met someone. We got married. I know it's fast, but he's wonderful, and he wants to help us. College for you, everything you need." "Married? Liz, are you serious?" "Completely. You'll meet him soon. Just trust me, okay? Everything's going to be better now. I promise." When I hung up, Jarrett stood in the doorway. "You're a good liar. That will serve you well." "I'm not lying. Everything will be better for him." I turned to face my new husband. "That's why I'm here. That's why I signed. But understand this, Jarrett. I may be your wife, but I'm not broken. You forced me into this marriage, but you gave me power I never had. Resources, protection, a voice. I'll use it all. For Ethan, for my patients, for every person who needs help." He crossed the room, taking my hands in his. "I know. That's exactly why I wanted you. Elizabeth, you asked why you. Because I needed someone who would use power to protect, not to destroy. Someone who would make me better, not worse." His gray eyes held mine. "You think you're the prisoner here, but I've been trapped by my own violence, my own isolation for years. You're my rescue, even if you can't see it yet." I didn't know if I believed him, but standing in that mansion, wearing his ring, bound by contracts and vows, I felt something shift inside me. Fear remained, yes, anger too, but underneath, something harder, stronger. If you watched or listened up to this point, comment the country you are watching this from. Represent your country. I was Elizabeth Volpe now, the forced bride of a mafia boss, the protected woman who lost her freedom but gained absolute security. And I would use every resource, every connection, every ounce of power this marriage gave me to protect the people I loved. If Jarrett Volpe wanted a wife, he got one. If he wanted strength, he got it. But he also got my compassion, my defiance, my refusal to become what he'd tried to make me. I was trapped in a marriage I never chose, but I was also more powerful than I'd ever been, and I would use that power wisely.